Guys, it's Sarah with Grassroots Evolution Tarot, and I'm here today to bring you a monthly message for the sign of Gemini for January 2023. Keep in mind this is general, so take what you feel resonates for you, disregard the rest, go about your day. And know that no matter what messages come through, guys, it's still up to you, your active free will, the choices you make, the steps you take in your world, and how you get whatever fulfillment it is you'd like to see. To me, this is personal freedom, it's personal power, and it's something that lies at the tips of your fingers, the soles of your feet, something that only you can do. So use this power to do wisely, my friends. For all my subscribers, I love you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for being here. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. If you feel like it resonates and you'd like to see more, if you want to hang out in my kitchen more often with me, hit subscribe, join this journey. I'd love to have you along the ride. So before I get started today, I am going to take a moment to call in spirit. I'm going to ask Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, my team of light, and any of your spirit guides that would be here for the highest good of the entire collective to join us. I'm going to ask them to guide, guard, bless, and protect myself, this reading, and any of you who would ask for it, as well as to use me as the clearest channel possible, delivering messages that are for the most far-reaching of us, but only top-notch shelf, like top shelf, okay? No second-rate messages today, just for our highest good. So disclaimer, I myself am a Gemini as well, so I often resonate with these as well. So let's see what we have, guys, my fellow Geminis. So let's get a little spiritual advice for January 2023. Now keep in mind that time is fluid, so I'm putting January 2023 on as kind of like a way to organize this, but it may resonate for something from the past, something that's happening currently, or something that hasn't quite happened yet, but I feel like you'll know when it comes. So Spirit, take your time is what I heard. Good things don't happen, well, some things, good things happen overnight, but whatever you're building, whatever you're creating, it takes time. So here we have this, and I want to take the bottom of the deck, which is Love Appears. I want to show you these cards first because I reap what I sow has been coming out in a lot of them, and I think that it's just a big universal spiritual reminder that we need to be working on the things that we'd like to see come into fruition right now, right? So a few months ago, I think there was a reading, and I don't remember who it was for, but it was basically like the message that came through was you can't harvest a garden you didn't plant, right? Not unless you go and do guerrilla gardening and you're like leaving, right? Or someone said, hey, I can't handle my garden, can you take it over? But even then, this is stuff that by accepting, you've made that choice and you're reaping that. So love appears, we have unconditional love, and I welcome. I welcome life as it presents itself to me. I no longer struggle, but take each step on my path to fulfillment with faith and abandon. I do not need to fight the flow of life as I have nothing to prove. I continue to be light even during times of hardship. I know all things will fall into place for my own greater good. I reap what I sow. I am aware that I am aware of all that I create around me. Sooner or later, all that I do and all that I think comes back to me in some way, be it positive or negative. I will reap the fruits of what I have sown. Therefore, I abundantly fill my life with love and light. For all the seeds I love of light I sow, I will harvest the greatest richness. Okay, so what I heard with this, because again, with I welcome, we're allowing things to flow. We want to build a bridge. What I heard is we don't want to build a dam or a wall. We don't want to divert this energy. We want to lean into it and use its momentum. So, yeah, the bridge, water moves under the bridge a whole lot better than it does a wall. It moves better through the bridge than it is if it's going to go through the wall. For some of us as well, what I heard is if we put walls up, okay, that water is going to find its way through the mortar. It's going to find its way underneath your foundation, and maybe not right away, but eventually if you try to build a wall over the emotions, if you try to build a wall over the process, it's going to erode, and then you're going to have a bigger mess to deal with because now you have a crumbling structure that you now need to either repair or get rid of and dispose of the pieces. And what I'm hearing is like it's a whole lot easier just to let this water flow as it was intended to, than try and create a diversion. So love up here says, I do not dwell upon my pain. I stop fighting against the things that have hurt me. I rise up boldly and ask for the understanding that free will that will free me of my duality. Through my desire to stay in the light of my being, God will send his helping angels so that love and peace find their way to me. And again, this is in the power of your hands. So this is important as well, that if you are going through a really hard time, ask Spirit, ask God, ask Source to send those angels. Call on Archangel Michael. That's confirmation to me, but call on Archangel Michael, because that's his job. That's what he's here for. That's what he wants to do, is to help us through whatever darkness we're going through, to protect us. And what I also heard is there's some affirmations that may really, really help you through whatever you're going through. I'm safe. I'm protected. My loved ones are protected. I'm whole. And I'm loved. I'm safe, protected, loved, just as I am. And if you're having trouble, is what I heard is some of us may get anxiety or things like that as well. This is even visualizing. Could be this white, beautiful white light around our loved ones, around ourselves, around our home. But this for me is what, if I'm going through a lot of anxiety at nighttime, when I'm having if I have trouble sleeping, that's what I'll do. I will envision my house being filled with light, me surrounded by light, my loved ones surrounded by light, knowing that they are safe, they are protected, and they are loved. And this is one of the things that usually really helps to calm my anxiety, because when we're doing this, we're also actively creating a force field around us and around the people that we love as well. But this is also calling in Spirit. So we have unconditional love here, which first and foremost has to come for yourself. Give yourself grace for some things that you might have thought you did wrong. Give yourself grace for things that happened 2 hours before bed, or 20 minutes before bed, or days and days, months and weeks ago, whenever, years, whatever it is that may be, what I heard is hitting that stone wall. Whatever it is that we, in our mind or in our heart, tried to build a wall to stop the flow because we weren't welcoming it, Spirit's like, it is time to really release that. So this comes with understanding, first off, what I heard is divine nature. Also understanding you're human. Give yourself grace, because we are not here to be perfect. We are here to learn experiences and to grow and to help each other. And how are we going to help each other if we are holding ourselves to an unattainable standard? So the unconditional love here says, I see light in everyone. I see beyond the personality and feel compassion for all my brothers and sisters of the light. I do not judge anyone, but accept others as they are. I feel unconditional love for everyone without expecting anything in return. I discover what is divine in each being, and I join my soul with theirs so that we grow together in universal love. This to me as well is that I reap what I sow. If we're doing things for other people and constantly expecting them to match our energy, we're going to be very disappointed in this world. Another thing is that when we're doing things from the kindness of our heart, we don't need to expect anything in return, not even a thank you. And here's where I get, it's a little bit hairy, because you want someone to say thank you, but at the same time, is that what you're doing it for? Because these are selfish reasons, right? If we're trying to help someone, we aren't doing it for the gratitude. We aren't doing it for the fame, for the glory, for the recognition. We're doing it because our heart wants to connect with their heart or do something nice for them. So what I also heard is, if you know someone is hurting, do something nice for them. If someone, here's also where what I heard is, if you are hurting, do something nice for yourself. And another thing, what I heard is, don't expect too much of yourself, okay? Not saying don't hold yourself to high standards and have goals. But if there's days where you only have limited resources of your own at the time, be it money, be it time, be it energy, this is where giving it your all may change day to day. So I'm not even sure where I was watching it, but it was someone talking about basically, if today you wake up and you feel like you only have 40% of your usual to give, and you give 40, you gave it all. Don't compare today to yesterday. Don't compare past versions of yourself to who you are now. And do not allow people in your world who treat you like garbage or do things expecting something in return. That's another thing. That I think it's important that if you do see people who are treating you in a way where it's transactionally, you're calling this behavior out. Okay? Or if it's transactional, this needs to be set up ahead of time. You wouldn't go, I'm hearing like work or job or something like that. You know it's transactional. You know that when you go there, yes, you may be doing really great things with your altruistic heart, but at the end of the day, you're going to get some monetary value for this. You're going to get paid, right? This is where I feel like if someone around you knows that, especially if it's something that you do a lot, right? They know that you should get paid for this, but they want you to do it out of the goodness of their heart. This also is like, well, how often is this happening? So a great example of this would be if you read tarot or something like that, right? And you're trying to make a profession of it, and your friends or your family or someone is constantly trying to get you to read their cards just for fun. You're like, okay, well, that's fun and all, but this is using my energy, right? It's the same thing as, let's say you really like to clean, okay? And you maybe are a house cleaner, right? And when you go to your friends or your family's house because you like to clean, they expect that you're going to do it, but they're not looking to give you anything in return. This is not saying don't do that out of the goodness of your heart, but it is also really paying attention to, okay, this feels a little bit like I'm being used. And if you're feeling like that, acknowledge it and confront it head on. Because also we reap what we sow. This comes down to me in terms of respect and boundaries. If we have people or users or people in our worlds who are trying to either devalue what we do by expecting it to be free, or just overall get something from us and use us, we need to put those boundaries in place, because whatever we tolerate, whatever we allow to happen, we're also we're showing them that that's okay to treat me like this. So what I heard is, if you need to get out of this kind of self-imposed prison, start putting boundaries on things that you do. This could be boundaries on like screen time, boundaries on how much time you play video games, boundaries on how much time you're watching YouTube, or you're even boundaries on, it's not boundaries, but discipline, working towards consistent discipline. If you're trying to create a study habit, if you're trying to create an exercise regime, if you're trying to stay on track with your meals and things like this, this is where you need to, for your own self, go, okay, I need to make sure that I've scheduled this in, that I am doing it. And if there is a day, as well, with this unconditional love and compassion for ourselves, that we don't meet, again, our expectations for what we wanted to do, it's okay. There's tomorrow. But this is making sure that if you feel like you need an extra rest day, or if you just don't have the energy today to do what you set out to do, that's fine. Don't beat yourself up. Give yourself that unconditional love. Give yourself grace. Because this also speaks to, we set up these goals, we set up these plans, we're trying to be disciplined, but let's say one day we're just dog tired, we are exhausted, we got takeout, we watched a bunch of movies, we stayed on, didn't listen to our screen time, and we didn't exercise, the list goes on. You're not going to kick your own ass for it, because you've got unconditional love for yourself. You're not loving yourself because you accomplished these goals. Make sense? So, I'm going to bring you guys now, this is the Wildwood Tarot. We'll get a little tarot advice. We have the Mirror in reverse, which just came out for Taurus in the upright. And I think this speaks a little bit to stop being so hard on yourself, my friends, as well as this being 11, and we have her, this soul moving through, as well as the hair in here. This to me speaks about the duality of our nature, okay? I think it's important to remember that play is important. Also, this lady is also a lot of times represented as Lady of the Lake, or Morgan, but she helped King Arthur cross over to the island where he got his sword Excalibur. I think it's important that for some of you, I think you're definitely way showers, and what I heard is you heed your own advice. This is totally listening for me, right? That I take my advice, that you take your own advice, right? That just because potentially for myself as well, I don't get everything I had on my to-do list done, doesn't mean I didn't accomplish anything. No. And for some of us as well, depending on what's going on in our day, are you still breathing? Have you eaten? Did you get the bare minimum done? Great. You're going to move on to tomorrow, get yourself some extra sleep, and it's a brand new day. Don't kick your own ass for things that, again, the things that have happened in the past. And I think a lot of times as well, depending on, what you've been going through, there is a tendency here with this being, like in the reverse to me says, there is a tendency to overthink actions. So twofold, either overthink the actions and let it eat at you, or like I said here, to dam it up, to build the wall and be like, that shit will not spill out. So for some of you as well, and this is not all of you, but what I heard is repressed memories and stuff like that, that it may be something where what we are trying, if things are coming up to be healed, again with this letting things flow, sometimes we may have to deal with some pretty painful or shitty memories, and building that wall up, stopping it, we're delaying our healing process. So this is saying, you know what, if some shitty memories come up, or if some things come up that you need to look at, acknowledge it. Some of you may want to journal. How did this memory make me feel? How did I feel about myself in this point? Who's involved? Is this a reoccurring process? Is this something that's continuing to haunt me? And really sit with it and feel it. And what I heard is find a positive in it. Because even though negative things or crappy things happen, did we learn a lesson? Because if we did, something positive came from that. Spirit, can you give me a little bit more guidance and information regarding this mirror? So again, what I heard with the heron, there could be something here where you're not looking closely enough, right? Or what I also heard is we're looking so closely that our eyes have gone cross-eyed and we can't see the fish that are coming through. You have the Ace of Vessels in the reverse, and this, I think, is also like, what I heard is we may be looking so closely at the water that we are missing opportunities of love in our world. It's depending on what we're paying attention to. So this Ace of Vessels, this waters of life, again, it came out in the reverse, but I think it's because it's just this reminder not to dam things up, not to wall things up, that we don't want to stop the flow. For some of you, this is, and not all of you, but what I heard is someone needs a good cry. And it may be something that you hold it in because we see it as a sign of weakness. But what's happening is it's essentially, it could be eating you alive. So whatever it is, if you're going to feel it, because we have to feel it to heal it. And there could be stuff here that we've dammed up, walled up, and said, no friggin' way am I letting you flow. We are not removing that old energy, so we're not going to be able to create any more space here. What I heard is, okay, with this animal, the watering hole may be full. Well, if we don't allow some of these animals to leave, then there's not going to be new animals to come and fill this, as well as there is something about competition in the animal world in terms of who is going to drink at what time here, because more than likely this beautiful deer isn't going to be drinking at the same time a predator is. So for some of this as well is stop drinking around predators, whether it's water, don't share. Something flipped and went back in, so I didn't see what it is, and I'd already started shuffling. But don't share your watering hole with predators. This is also, don't share your emotions with predators. You have the Six of Swords here, Six of Arrows, sorry, with transition. Now, it's hard to say whether it's there moved upright or just down, but if you can see here, He's driving a swan boat. We have the swan here. Swans may be really important for you and a really important totem, but this is laying somewhere in the middle of what's hidden and what you can clearly see. This also brings to me with, we can't necessarily, we can't control which way the wind flows, but we can adjust our sails accordingly, and we can move accordingly. There is something holding you back. It's something very internal, something very, very connected to the heart. And I think that in this next cycle, what I heard is in this next cycle and this next process, teaching and integrating universal and unconditional love for ourselves is going to be one of the biggest things that we can do for ourselves. So again, that I reap what I sow. If we're hard on ourselves, we're going to get a lot of people hard on ourselves. Or if we have people around us who are trying to tell us how loved we are, we're going to be like, yeah, you're full of crap. I don't believe you. Or whatnot. Or if how great we are, or what good of a job we're doing. We're not going to believe that because our mentality is, I'm not good enough. Or that I don't deserve this love. There could also be places where what I heard is you feel like love has been withheld for you as well. And this is a special place where we need to also realize that everyone's capacity to give and receive love is going to be different. Not all people are huggy, okay? But it's also, like I heard, physical affection and things like this. If at an early age, or if at some formative time in our life we've been denied that kind of stuff, or we've seen that we're only getting that love or the way we feel we need to be loved, if we fall in line with certain conditions, or if we behave in certain ways, this is unlearning those patterns and traits that we have done. Because what we've done is created something so that we're working with a condition that we feel loved, but this is hurting us. The card that fell out is the Ten of Arrows with instruction, but this is the end. We're learning. And for some of us, again, like this is on the Six of Swords. Here's the compass. Here's all the ways that we can go. There's 6 of them. We have more knowledge now, more understanding. We've learned more lessons. And I think that's going to be really important with this being arrows. Self-reflection is going to be key. But knowing that you hold it in your hands and not to stop the flow. So I do feel like once whatever it is that's been holding us back, we kind of get that at bay. And again, what I heard is you stop sharing information with predators, okay? And this could be people around us that we don't even know are predators. But I want you guys to do a little exercise with me. When you are around people, really pay attention to how you feel, how they make you feel. When you're telling them things that make you happy, if you're telling them things that make you sad, what are their reactions? Does this person use it against you at a later date? Do they always blame you for everything that happens? I don't know who this is, okay? But it's channeling and it's coming through that for this, I feel like you are so loving and you're so giving and you're so kind and you're so free with your love, right? Free with your energy. And if you haven't been, if you've put the walls up, it's because we've been so free with the energy that we're like a magnet for narcissistic users. And I think that there's a lot of stuff that's been internalized here that once again we practice this unconditional love for ourselves and realize that we're not responsible at all for anyone else's emotions. We're not responsible for their happiness, and we're not responsible for their actions. Those are all on them. That once you realize that too, what I heard is you're going to feel a lot healthier. For some of you, you may also want to do a cord cutting ritual where you're imagining, even if it's people you love, cutting the cords with that, just the psychic draw and energy. Also having like a saltwater bath and cutting cords in that. What I heard as well is imagining that you're hooked up to like some machine with like plugs going up and down your spine. Imagine pulling those out. Nothing is going to feed off of you. There is nothing coming down into you. Pull those out, sew those wounds up shut, and ask that Spirit helps heal you. Because whatever is going on, okay, or whatever, again, with this love appears, where we're going to stop holding on to the things that we've hurt us, this stuff has been internalized and it's cut deep. So Spirit's just saying, oh, I thought I was at 36. Spirit's just saying, really moving forward to actively create a world around you that you'd like to live in, and removing the energy or forces. I'm going to take that one and this. The energies or forces around you that stifle you and stifle your growth. So you is one of the cards that came out, as well as Camphor. Breathe, my friends. Breathing easy. And both of these, actually, interesting enough, are the bark. So let's figure out here. Bark. Or the trunk healing, which would be basically, right, your body, but where your strength is, your core. Camphor says clarity. I teach the importance of seeing situations clearly. Not only with your mind, but also with your heart. This will enable you to look beyond the way things appear in the outer world in order to see how they really are, and so you find peace and understanding. It says set up time to be by yourself, then practice some slow and steady breathing. This will help you to clear your mind so that your difficulties become easier to analyze and you gain greater understanding. The U is about regeneration. This is bounce back time, baby. It says, I can live for many hundreds of years. As my outer trunk gradually dies off, I will grow a new central trunk to supply food to my leaves and branches. I can show you how to regenerate your own life to gain new strength and resilience. For some of you, with this breathing and learning your own strength and resilience, it's going to start in your throat. You need to vocalize, and you need to set those boundaries out loud. So it says this is a potent time of rebirth in which you can shed parts of your life that no longer serve you and develop new activities and attitudes. It is also a time of stillness and contemplation as you reconnect with your spiritual beliefs. As well as what I feel like for some of this is if anyone's ever told you that what you believe to be true in your heart, or the convictions that you hold, they're not true, or they've tried to mold you into a mini version of them, or have really tried to put you down for your beliefs, this is where we need to communicate it. And if they continue, we know where to cut the lines. We know where we may need to distance ourselves from some people. So on the bottom we have read, right? Read a good book. This could be also reading some self-help books, but I do feel like this is just finding the time to do things that bring you joy. And you have positive affirmations here. I love myself. I am brave. I am beautiful. I am worthy. I am grateful. I choose love. I am healthy. I am happy. I am worthy of unconditional love. they're reminding me again about the yew tree and how the outer trunk can die off, but then we're regrowing from the inside out. And I really think this is the time. It's not that our outer body's going to be gone. Some of you may be going through some physical changes, but it's that we're regrowing ourselves on a cellular level. When you work through some of the trauma as well, it's changing the cellular makeup. There could be a lot of releasing too. So like I said, if you feel the need to cry, do it. Get yourself some water healing in a bath, because the next cycle after this is one with so much joy and so much love. We don't want to be bogged down in the past, because it's time we're regenerating ourselves, and that's beautiful. So this is a message I have. Remember to breathe. Remember to focus on clarity. And again, if you are seeing people or having situations around you where you're feeling gaslit, or someone's doing something and then when you say something to them, they're denying it, or again, disregarding your feelings or putting you down or anything like that, this is emotional manipulation tactics, emotional abuse tactics, and it is something that, again, you got to see it to heal it. You got to feel it to heal it. And once you start seeing it, my friends, don't close your eyes again, but try to maintain an open heart and just get yourself away from the people who make you feel like crap. I love you all. That's the message I have. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Great big hugs for anyone feeling like that, and I will talk to you later. Bye, guys.